Much, and yes indeed we are live here. It's going to be Cloud9 and NaVi heading into a best of one game on train. Semmler, I think we've officially reached what must be a really good game here. There's no way this is going to be a bad game.
This is the group that everybody's been waiting for, Anders.
Yeah.
It's the closest group across the board. NaVi and Cloud9. Don't think that NaVi are going to be able to stomp Cloud9 out of this. Definitely think that Cloud9 are going to be able to put up a fight. And then after this, it's the big match. It's G2 versus Virtus Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's waiting to see the outcome of that one and who's going to be able to come out on top.
I mean, I've got my guess as to who it might be, but I won't say just yet. We are going to go into it here, and it will be NaVi starting on the terrorist side here. Definitely a good map for them. Stewie already falling back, and look at the train that's coming into the B-bomb site here. Grenade rains out, does a little bit of damage. Nice shot from Stewie, bringing down Guardian, and that has to be a great kill for them coming through. But Stewie, he's being zoned out. He needs backup badly, and finally it arrives. Shroud coming up with a headshot on Zeus, and they need more than that, a second one as well. Shroud being put into play. Freakazoid getting a kill and seized up here, but it's too early. That Molotov, yeah, it's going to deny the defuse for a second. Actually, they have a smoke to cancel it, but it doesn't even matter. Comes charging in, it's a 1-on-3, can't hit the shot, and Shroud gonna end up with a triple kill, all headshots, and Cloud9 with a great retake.
There are so many things that went right for Cloud9 in that play, and it was actually Stewie, I think, who was the linchpin. If he had gotten overrun by Guardian pushing up aggressively like that, then NaVi would have had a way off of that site.
Yeah.
They could have taken the fight to Cloud9. Instead, he shuts down Guardian immediately, and that buys just enough time for the rotation to come through Link and to start, getting into the fight. And they bottle NaVi onto that bomb site successfully. They don't allow NaVi to take the fight to him. They keep him locked in, and then they just pick him apart. That was sick. That's exactly how it's supposed to go in a retake like that for Cloud9.
I mean, that Molotov on the high ground is such a popular strategy, but not only did they have the smoke, it also had to be put out instantly, that Molotov, and that doesn't work. The bomb timer is so long that they could have just waited it out anyway. But not that they really had much choice at the end. It's just a bit unfortunate. So you could see the idea there for NaVi, just it wasn't really executed to perfection. It's going to give the North American team a nice start. You know what, Semmler? We've already had two good North American teams winning and upsetting the situation today. Could we really have a third one? Is there even room for that?
Oh, dude, there's always room for that. I mean, come on. Such a hype major. We got to have some hype upsets as well just to go with it, right? North America has to turn up here on home turf. That's always, it's an old argument that we've had in the past. It's like that home turf advantage, does it actually play a factor? Well, now we get to see, can the North American team show up now that they actually have a stadium that has been sold out, full of fans waiting to see them perform?
Thing is, in the past when we've had, North American lands, it's still been awful for the North American team.
Fair enough.
Every time European teams show up, it seems to be different. But maybe it's time to break that curse. Be very interesting to see what happens if they can actually make it all the way through.
And that can be a real risk, right? Where the European players coming over here, they've been bashing on North America for so long that they might underestimate them, and that might cost them. But it looks like NaVi, they're gearing up to go for another inner site play here. Straight out onto the B site. Stewie, he's only going to get the first kill, but Skadoodle's there to back him up with the MP7. And there's the line that's being held. Shroud is there to get the kill onto Flamey, and Edward just not going to get anywhere near this bomb site. Not going to be able to get the plant, and that's really what NaVi were hoping for here.
Yeah, I mean, again, even if Stewie just got the one kill, he stayed alive long enough at least. It took a while to bring him down. It wasn't the instant dink into the bomb site that allows them to sort of overrun anything. And at the end of it, Skadoodle with a double kill, and Cloud9 looking decent. And no bomb plant for NaVi either. They did have that in the first round, but they won't be able to buy here. They just invested a little bit too much.
And that force is going to have an impact on Guardian and when he's going to be able to get that AWP. Sometimes you see Guardian take a step back when his team decides to go for the force buy, and he'll just go for just like the Deagle, no Kevlar.
Yeah.
Or even I've seen him go for the P250 in the past when he's been feeling particularly, thinking ahead basically to the big round where he wants to get that AWP. He's been playing safe, right? This is not the case. This time around, he just decides to go with the rest of the team. And so now, well, he may not have that AWP in the first buy round. So a lot of talk going into this about Skadoodle and Guardian. There was a time, basically, quite some time ago, actually, where we were having that discussion, Skadoodle, Guardian, who was actually the top opera in the world. It was very close, but Guardian came out ahead that time, and it's been Guardian holding the crown ever since.
Well, I think what really happens is there is a difference between saying, like, who's the best opera and who's the best player, and I think that the reason why Guardian always wins when you do the best player comparisons is that he can have an AK and still wreck, whereas it seems like Skadoodle has a sort of a sharper drop-off point if you give him a rifle. But I think between Skadoodle and Guardian, it's gonna be hard to call like a battle between those two in an AWP. I mean,
not only that, Anders, actually, you make a good point. But like, it's the fact that Guardian is such a versatile player, and Skadoodle tends to, you know, stay more of a fixed player where he's, you know, it's a little bit more predictable what he wants to do. He wants to sit and hold a spot and basically be that turret, right? You give him an up, he sits there, he holds that angle, and he just demolishes people as they come into it. Whereas Guardian, you never really know what you're going to get with Guardian. He's just so aggressive everywhere across the map. It's that element of surprise that he's always got going with him that makes him so dangerous.
I'd love to see a battle. I mean, nowadays, it doesn't seem like that many CSGO matches are decided just by the AWP battle. You know, there was definitely a point in time where if the other team had a better AWPer, then there'd be no way around that. But it seems like that has changed a little bit. Skadoodle already picking up the AWP. You did already point out that that's not going to be an option for Guardian in this round, and he does go with the AK instead. That does allow for faster and more dynamic play on the NaVi side, and we'll see if they're going to try and do that here in the 4th round. First actual rifle round for NaVi. And they're playing on the less favorite side, so we'll see how they're going to be able to do early on here.
A little bit of a mistiming there. You guys saw Edward not getting it right, getting flashed. So that stops him from trying to push through that smoke, trying to be aggressive. But when that smoke goes down, you have to start worrying a little bit about the CT side getting aggressive up in brown halls, trying to lurk around the edges, trying to pick somebody off on the T side, you know, catch them sleeping. So they are going to play a little bit more delayed NaVi up in those brown halls, trying to buddy system it up basically and wait to see if anybody's going to get aggressive on the CT side. So good peek there. Yeah, you see they just go in together. So if one of them dies, the other one's going to trade frag. And now this is classic NaVi where they just start, you know, systematically picking the map apart and getting control of each part of the map before they actually execute into their strategy.
Well, what is cool is that the one person playing aggressively on the CT side is Freakazoid with the SMG that he saved. And I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to save the SMG, might as well try and take a risk and see if you can't you know, get something more out of it. Right now, he's not sort of falling for any tricks here. He's just waiting. All the way up. Look at how much map control that's denying NaVi. They're going to have a hard time, even if they wanted to execute B and just ignore the A main entrance here. They'd have to worry about Freakazoid sneaking up behind them, so they have to all the time think about this loss of map control. But Seized is actually quite far up Ivy, and they should be a bit scared of that.
Yeah, actually, that is going to be a little bit of an issue. Shroud is falling back, and so they're trying to consolidate the defense on the A site. So Seized might come through there. He might expect him to be playing back line, but instead Shroud, he's holding on the train. So if Seized decides to get aggressive here, Shroud, he's going to be primed and ready to take him out. And it does look like NaVi. They're looking to get that 3-pronged approach onto the A site, but they're just getting completely bodied. They ran right into a wall. A single kill on Freakazoid, but the rest of Cloud9, they hit all of their shots.
Wow. I mean, that is the best case scenario really for Cloud9 in that situation. I'm a bit concerned about that particular setup because if you have one guy watching main, one guy watching Pop Dog, and one guy watching Ivy like that, only 3 people in the A bomb site and the other 2 at B, what happens is if any one of them goes down, someone else has to take up that angle, and suddenly I'd say, you know, you double the chances of that guy getting killed. If he dies, the last guy has to, you know, take care of all 3. That's why you almost always have 4 people at the A bombs, or at least enough that you could rotate in like that. But it worked out beautifully for Cloud9, so can't really complain too much. This looks like a round where NaVi are going to just go on the A-bomb site with Tech9s, smokes down, try and get the bomb down, see if they can't play for the afterplant. And it's going to be just the classic default execute that we know pretty well by now.
Yeah, it's the straight quasi-buy coming out here from NaVi. They're looking to just get halvesies in, and they've got the smokes for the execute. The thing is that Cloud9, they have 4 incendiaries. So if they see those nades start to come in, if they have any time to react at all, it's going to be incendiaries all over the place, trying to delay NaVi as much as possible, trying to make sure that NaVi have as little time as possible to work with these smokes. So already we can see the nades coming out here from Cloud9. Freakazoid holding up close, just waiting, and this is perfect for him. He's within that smoke range, so he's going to be the first line of defense here. He's playing first contact for Cloud9.
And even if they wanted to run back, that wouldn't work too well either. There are 2 good kills coming into it. Cloud9 picking up a third. That's Freakazoid with the double kill, and Flamey and Seized, they're not even going to be able to make it onto the site here. Just a beautiful defense being put up here. Nobody even goes down on the Cloud9 side. That's actually a bit of a slap in the face for NaVi here. That kind of round, normally on the T side, you expect you could at least get the bomb down. Even if you don't win, you know you got that in the bank. Finally, we see Guardian picking up the AWP, and he's going to have a big impact, I think, on this game right now.
Yeah, that's what we've all been waiting for. It's that Guardian op, and now NaVi, I mean, they're known for it. They're known for building a lot of their strategies around Guardian. He's so good at entry frags just because NaVi, they literally just sit around and wait for him. They play the clock and wait for him to find somebody, taking that one extra step that's going to put them into his crosshairs and allow him to start things off strong for NaVi. And this time, again, this is where it gets really difficult to read Guardian. He's going to start off at Ivy, but he could start rotating back to A main. He could start, he could just be anywhere with this op right now. So Cloud9, they need to figure that out. But they've already started off strong. Skadoodle, he manages to find Zeus to begin with here.
Same setup as well for Cloud9 here. They're really sticking to it, and we'll see if it's going to pay off. Shroud Covering here with the AK, it's going to be Guardian. He's creeping in, and the timing is almost uncanny right now. Guardian standing in the fire, just hoping that Shroud's going to come and peek him, and when he finally does, he's going to miss the shot, and Shroud definitely won't. Good headshot coming in, and it's just a full team effort right now. Cloud9 taking care of business. He's going to get a bit at the end here, but it would have to be an ace clutch for him to win this. He's got a minute for it, so if Cloud9 start making a lot of mistakes, there's always a chance, but they shouldn't be doing that. They're under no pressure right now to do that, so might as well chill.
And they're so nade rich that they're just going to chuck out smokes. They're going to do whatever they want at this point. They should be feeling in complete control of the situation, Cloud9. All three of them on the site, and even, well, two of them on the site, but they have Freakazoid watching the back line in case Guardian tries to rotate around to A main or try to rotate into Brown Halls towards that B site. There's just nowhere for Guardian to go. Skadoodle holds the angle, and those are the kinds of situations that Skadoodle excels at. He very rarely misses those shots where he's already, you know, just lined up and ready and waiting. You very rarely catch him sleeping. So once again, Scott delivers, and he's actually doing some big work right now. 8-3-1 for him so far, and we're just getting into the 7th round.
And exciting for me because there was some interview I was doing before this whole event, and someone asked, you know, who's the player to sort of watch out for. I think Shroud is one of them because we know, you know, everybody has been watching Shroud stream and all of that stuff, right? The front page of the subreddit is constantly full with stuff from you know, Shroud playing FPL or something like that. But then we go to a tournament like this, and it's not the same, and that's super frustrating, right? Must be personally frustrating for him. And it's long overdue for Shroud to sort of actually go and do that at a LAN tournament like this.
Well, that's always like the biggest criticism, right? You hit the nail on the head. Is the fact that, you know, Shroud, he comes up with these crazy 4K clips, and the first comment, every time you go in there, that first comment is gonna be like, oh, but why doesn't he do this on LAN?
Yeah.
And that's always been the thing. You know, he goes crazy in these FPL games, but then on LAN he never seems to actually, you know, step up and deliver that kind of level, have that kind of impact. I mean, right now, we actually have like quite a few of them doing really well. Freakazoid as well. I mean, he's been holding that close A main position, and that's a really tricky spot. It's very easy for you to be caught looking the wrong way at the wrong time, but he's been delivering so far, 6-1-1.
And it's you know, it's funny that the guys were bringing up Yurikandi because obviously he was playing with Shroud in that Manajuma team, with, you know, with Desi and all the rest of them. And that was sort of when Shroud had his real breakthrough as sort of obviously the ultimate star player of that team.
Yeah, that's when he got picked up by well, you know, got given his chance by Cloud9, and then he's been with them ever since through the rough times. And
honestly, I can't blame Cloud9 for keeping on to him. I think it'd be mad to throw him away, but you always have to be concerned if someone can't translate like their full potential into a tournament of this size. And Shroud has definitely had issues with that. But at the same time, we were talking about this earlier. You go to a big tournament like this. The first time you do it, you're going to make all sorts of mistakes, right? And the second time, you're going to make slightly fewer, and it's sort of, you know, you keep going like that. Eventually, you should be able to sort of grind out all of it. Now, a few gifted players sort of show up, and within, you know, 2 or 3 tournaments, they've got it figured out, and they know how to play, right? Some people just take a little bit longer, and maybe Shroud is one of these players.
Yeah.
He certainly wouldn't be the first.
I mean, there's also, I mean, there's another layer to it, which is just like the enormous amount of pressure put on him. You know, Cloud9 for the longest time, they were the front-running North American team, and all eyes were on him. So it's just like Nip, the same sort of, you know, mental battle that they have to go through when all eyes are on you. They're expecting great things, and every time you let them down, it just gets worse because the next time you're going to be thinking, okay, you know, you make a mistake. Oh no, everybody saw that. Everybody, you know, and it's just this. You need this mental fortitude, and Shroud, yeah, he might be developing it by now. But look at this. Skadoodle's going to draw the attention, and Stewie2K, that 1-2 combination, nice B-hold set up there for Cloud9 on the B site. Skadoodle and Stewie2K really working well there.
Shroud adjusting his position ever so slightly, you know, still the exact same angle, just this time on top of the train instead of down on the rails, and that's enough to throw NaVi off guard, because they've figured out by now that that's where he's holding. They must also figured out that there's not going to be a crossfire down at Ivy, which means they can use less grenades and they can sort of walk out, which is what they just tried to do. It just didn't work. So basic sort of defense coming up in terms of alternating your positions, but it's super important to remember to do it anyway. Edward and Guardian still left, and it's a 2-1-3. So again, waiting around like this and hoping for Cloud9 to give you the opening is not a bad choice for NaVi. Yeah,
they have so much time. They still have 50 seconds on this clock. And that's exactly what they're hoping for at this point. Edward looking for the lurk. Stewie2K has been boosted up. Guardian will catch out nothing, and that was in the middle of nowhere. But Ska, he's boosted, and Stewie2K is there to watch him. Misses the shot, though, Ska. Now, with Edward so close, he's going to get the spray, and the double spray for Edward. 3 kills total, and the AWP save for Guardian in the next round. But Cloud9, how did they lose control of that? That was actually huge, because that was a 5v3 in the end. Well, I mean, a 2v3 eventually for NaVi, the man advantage for Cloud9, and they just got picked off one after another there, Cloud9.
Yeah, and didn't even look like they were doing like horrible overextensions. You know, they were just trying to hold the bomb site from C-Connect to mainly. Which credit to NaVi for bringing it back in that round, and it's about time as well. We're at 6-1 here and moving into the 8th round, so they definitely needed to get on the board. They have done so now, and we still haven't really seen that Skadoodle versus Guardian AWP battle, but maybe we will at some point here. See if we can get that unfolding. Freakazoid going to check A main, and the problem is Flamey has the shadow advantage here. The shadow on the ground will show before the actual model will, so Flamey, easy pickup for him.
Yeah, a little bit surprising not to see some kind of teamwork coming through there as well. With nothing being so close, he could have probably flashed Freak in. Could have been something. I mean, sure, you're giving away information, but if that guarantees you the kill, whatever, you know, just get that flash out there, get that kill, and then back off and make NaVi sweat. Instead, now it's NaVi with that man advantage, and this is where they excel. They're just going to go back to default, and they know that Cloud9, you know, they might be tempted to try and go for some kind of hero play. They want to be in position to punish that, and then just, you know, go ahead and fall into their execute once the time comes. I mean, we're just getting past that minute mark, and now they're going to start thinking, okay, we have 3 players up in the brown halls right now. Rotate that bomb over. 4 players about to go crashing into this B-side defense, and it's all on Stewie2K. He's alone here on the site. Nobody even close to rotate to help him out.
God, this is going to be really tough. He does have a Molotov, and he hasn't put it up yet, but he needs a quick kill, and then he needs to stay alive most of all, and he's not going to be able to accomplish that. Flamey will take him out. Sue's already close to the C-Connect, so anyone rotating in is going to have a hard time. They're going to have to deal with him before they can even deal with the bomb site itself, and so just staying alive right now is making life pretty tough. A good grenade coming out as well. Flamey to finish off that kill for the triple, in fact, and they almost line up. They will line up for Seized. Coming in with the flank, and NaVi winning that round without losing a single player. Wow, so in the space of 2 rounds, the whole tune of this match has changed a little bit, and now Cloud9 have got to be careful. They are going to be buying in this round. If they lose it, then suddenly NaVi could go from 6-0 to 6-4 in the space of a couple of minutes.
This is where we start to see that timeout factor come into play as well for the Tier 1 teams. It always seems like they get a timeout, they just talk over what's going wrong, or they take a deep breath and just reset themselves. I'm going to use a word that's been tilting Thorn recently. You know, they want to break that momentum of their opponents, and usually it's effective. A Tier 1 team, they know how to shut down or just turn things back their way. So 2 rounds after the timeout for NaVi, and they're looking fantastic now. At this point, it's really putting a lot of pressure on Cloud9 because that money, that economy is gone for Cloud9. So their backs are to the wall at this point. If they lose this round, it's going to put them into an awkward quasi-buy eco sort of situation.
Exact same setup at the A-bomb site here for Cloud9. They tried to alternate it last round, having Freakazoid check main, and that backfired on them. So there might just be a sort of a direct response to that, saying, all right, well, the other thing worked, so let's just keep going. NaVi, on the other hand, have they figured it out yet that this is what's going on? They really should have. And if they have, I mean, it leaves a back opening almost into CT spawn on the B-bomb side. They could just smoke it off and walk right past Shroud if they wanted to. I mean, he's going to be able to look over the smoke when he's on the train, but if they just check that angle, then they might be able to make it through. So we'll see if that's going to happen here. Ceased actually climbing under the smoke. NaVi being very precise right now, but Shroud, he's going to be catching Flamey, and that's a good opening frag. Did you realize there's a second player he won't, and it's going to be a great opening kill for Cease, but he goes down right afterwards.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit surprising. Could have swore that Shroud would have heard the footsteps there. Just lost track. Was expecting more targets perhaps to show themselves. Freakazoid does step up though. He wins that fight, and now there's a man advantage here for Cloud9 on the hold. Zeus manages to pick up 1, but the trade comes right back. Nothing there to take out Edward. And it's all on Guardian and Zeus now at this point. Nothing steps forward, removes Zeus from the map, and with 15 seconds left on this clock, Guardian just doesn't have the time to make the play. 10 seconds, yeah, just he realizes, wait a second. Not going to be able to make the play for B site, so he decides to hold on to his AWP.
I'm really curious about if I was NaVi right now, I would probably try and think about maybe actually doing a rush at Ivy with Tech9s, because Shroud's been playing very well right now. But you could do it with the rifles if you wanted to as well, but I don't think there's any way Shroud's going to be defeating 3 players. The problem is they face that angle by going in one at a time, so he's always going to be able to get a kill and then sort of hide, maybe get 2 kills and hide, and that's all he needs. But they should use the fact that they can sort of count on the idea of him being alone there to help out, especially if they put down good smokes.
This has just got to be very frustrating for NaVi, because you can be sure that they were feeling how close they were getting to getting an eco out of Cloud9, to forcing them to breaking their economy. Cloud9 winning that round and winning it decisively as well is just, you know, bought them a breath of fresh air, basically, a second chance. And it's going to be NaVi now, the ones who spend all of their money to get equipped in this round.
And look at this. Siege, you can see he's focused on Shroud's position. He knows he's going to be down there. They got 3 people coming from the other side, and there it is. They just sandwich Shroud in, having Siege down early in main. So finally they exploit that weakness, and that's a great way to start the round. Second kill coming in, nothing going to be going down. Freakazoid to follow. And now it's up to Stewie and Skadoodle, and they are going to make their way out of that A-bomb site. And you can't really blame them for that. Really, really good execute from NaVi. And you can see as soon as Siege is out there, he starts looking down towards the end of that train. He knows that Shroud's going to be there. Well, Guardian taking care of business once, and Stewie, well, he's going to get the frag at least. Actually, a second one doing some good damage here to the NaVi economy. That matters.
Shame he wasn't expecting a third one to be there. Pulls the knife out, gets punished, but still, right now, I mean, this is a fantastic scoreline as far as Cloud9 are concerned. It is going to put them onto a bit of a pistol situation here for themselves. Their economy wasn't quite as strong as I thought it was, but NaVi, they will succeed in the end at actually getting an easy round. You know, air quotations, right? Easy round. Still possible to throw against pistols, but still. It's going to give them a good shot at actually getting some momentum rolling their way here, get up to that 4th round, and we'll see how far they can take it. If this can be a very decisive win in this round, then NaVi will have the money, they'll have the breathing room, and they should be able to close out the second half strongly. But first shot rings out, and it's going to be a miss from Guardian.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it's been looking great for Cloud9 so far, we got to remind everyone as well that because of how good NaVi are, you know, they don't need that many rounds on the T side, I think, to make it still through on the CT side. So you got to be careful here. Skadoodle with some action long range, and it's all up to Stewie now in a 1-on-3 with an AK in his hand. So a bit of a tough position. At least, again, they managed to inflict some damage to NaVi's economy, and that could still play a factor in this game.
Actually, yeah, if he could pick up just one more, that would be huge. It's Guardian as well, who's out on his own hunting right now. So if they could find Guardian, just one more kill would be great, just to force somebody on NaVi's side to force buy. Well, Guardian, he's up close, and he just catches Stewie K. Stewie was just so focused on Pop Dog, he was waiting for somebody to come out from the V site. It's just not going to pan out this time around. So 3 players survive for NaVi. They're going to be able to maintain that economy pretty strong as well, considering Guardian and Flamey both start the round with 7,300 in the bank. So that's a bit of a shame there for Cloud9. They missed an opportunity, and it looks like now they're kind of teetering on the edge. They're still waiting to see if they're going to go for that force or not, and it's going to be a quasi in the end.
In terms of who's doing well right now, you got to appreciate the fact that Cloud9 are almost all tied. Like, it's 3 people on 9 kills, and then the last 2, Stewie and Freakazoid, on 7. So that's almost no difference at all. Whereas on the other team, I mean, you've got to look at Flamey and Seized. Now, Flamey's no surprise, but it's always interesting to see Seized come into play right now. And now comes the question, where is Guardian? Where are the big opening picks here on the terrorist side that they do need every once in a while? I think that would sort of push them over the edge here and actually have a really good first half.
Well, it happens.
NA
pro
grenades.
Players, exactly. They mess up nades. It happens every now and again. Nobody saw that. We weren't watching. But Guardian was able to identify early that this was another save round out of Cloud9, which meant that NaVi instantly, once they get that info, they all fall back. They wait to see where the push is going to be coming from. That doesn't help them in the end. Eventually, Freakazoid steps up and actually takes out Seized, but they will be able to sneak their way out onto this B site behind the smoke. Nice spot there. They do manage to do some big damage to nothing, forcing them back, and eventually Edward will hunt them down. And that leaves it down to Stewie 2K, Shroud, and Freakazoid here to try and have an impact. Flamey taking the long-range duel with Shroud, nearly winning it, but he gets headshot, and it's getting a little dangerous. Edward finally going to be able to step in there and just take that fight close quarters and win it. And Zeus with the double spray down up in the Brown Halls, managing to just close out the round nice and neat. 4 players survive for NaVi, and we're going to have now a 7-5 scoreline, and Cloud9 finally, they're going to be able to get that big buy again.
Well, 7-5. And that's how little has to change for this to work out for NaVi. Now, I think they could be pretty comfortable. If this finishes 10-5, I think NaVi are going to shrug and say, well, you know, one pistol round 1 and we're home free.
Right.
So right now, Cloud9, they've got to double down. And in fact, they will. Double AWP with Shroud playing one of them. Interesting
choice. There's just shots all over the place right now. Even a bit of a wallbang coming out from Guardian, I think. Not sure if that's what caught out Freakazoid.
But yeah, he's in the angle, so it could have been.
Freakazoid, yeah, taking a lot of damage. And Edward showing that he's actually got a bit of a wall bang there to try and hit the top of the train in case anybody's trying to hold close to A main up there. Might take a little bit of damage. But yeah, NaVi, they've definitely decided to slow it down. And they're really, I mean, it started off with them playing a little aggro Ivy and actually trying to get in Shroud's face. Now they've just kind of elected to just back off over there, hold very far back, and wait to see if Cloud9 are the ones getting aggressive on that part of the map. And once again, they're just going to be, showing some interest in that B site. They have shown a decent variety, NaVi, switching it up between B and A. So they haven't really been focusing on just the one site. So it's making sure that Cloud9 have to stay honest, basically. They can't try and cheat over onto the A site, keep 4 players there, and just leave the sole man on B. Instead, they actually have to keep the setup here with 2 players on the B site. Now we have to see if it's actually going to be effective here. Skadoodle forced off, smoke is there, and now he spots the man on the site. That allows Stewie to actually get in there and get the kill. Man advantage, and Stewie just doing Stewie things, and he's going to get punished.
He's trying to make it work, but not quite. Freakazoid going to go down as well. Skadoodle in the back lines, he's just been zoned out by that one smoke. Has essentially left him completely handicapped in that bomb site, and now Shroud and Skadoodle left 2 versus 4. Great execute from NaVi. Very, very easy, very simple. And a bit of a shame that's all it took, you know?
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing where it's like the timing, right? If Ska, he isn't dropping back now, Avian Edward is lurking on the other side of the map. He gets out Skadoodle, he spots out Shroud. If they lose both of these AWPs, it's going to be a big problem for Cloud9. And Edward successfully picks up both kills. That's a triple kill for him at the end of the round in a key round, and that puts them up onto 6 rounds now, NaVi, and this is well within their comfort zone. I mean,
yes.
Now you're right. You were just mentioning that where it's like, okay, NaVi have got to be feeling pretty good about themselves. Getting up onto 6 rounds of their T side on train. Yeah, this is that feel-good moment now for NaVi where they should be feeling like they've got everything under control.
So, you got to wonder, I think some AWPers, and Guardian could have been one of them, and JW could have been another one. If they'd seen that smoke go down on upper, would they have actually jumped up and tried to go aggressive instead? Because it works as sort of a wall both ways, right? So, you could also be trying to push it like that, but he fell back, and ultimately when Stewart went down, that was kind of the end of that bomb site. There was no one else to defend anything. Quick trade early on here. Bit of a deagle shot coming through from Shroud, but he goes down to Edward. And now it's still a 3-on-4, nothing, also falling very low. And it looks like NaVi are going to have no issues this round. That's going to tie the scoreline at 7-7 and put us into the last round of the half here. NaVi taking some time. In fact, it was 6-0 early on, and now we're back at 7-7. Now that should tell you something about sort of NaVi taking that time out and coming back in this game.
Exactly. And Cloud9, you know, it's exactly that as well. NaVi, super effective timeout, totally broke Cloud9's momentum. They got everything rolling for themselves after that. Cloud9 haven't used their timeout. When they were starting to lose control of the situation, when NaVi were getting close and really starting to get rounds on the board, Cloud9, we haven't seen them go for the pause. We haven't seen them try to use it as a weapon to try and, stumble NaVi. Hasn't happened, and now, I mean, they're paying for it. 7-7, and NaVi, I mean, they're primed now to go into the second half just super strong, because if they pick up that pistol round, NaVi run away with this game. Their CT side on train is excellent as well.
Again, very slow start here from NaVi. Apart from C sort of running into the A courtyard really early on, we haven't seen too much aggression from them early in the rounds. Freakazoid, last time he tried to walk in blind. This time he's going to try and pop flash Swin, but look at that. He got the flashbang on Flamey, but then Edward is there, and he couldn't get flash. He was behind the boxes. That's just a great play. Skadoodle going to go down as well. Now it's down to Stewie and Shroud, and NaVi just actually counting on the aggression this time for Cloud9, and they just counter it perfectly.
This is going to be heartbreaking for Shroud. He actually flashes into Ivy just to verify, just to see if anybody's there, get that info. Little does he know, C's just creeping up on him. And so Shroud holding on this angle. He might get forced out. Molotov is going to be a bit too deep, so it's not going to be an issue for him. C's, though, might be the one to fall for the trap here unless Shroud makes a move. And yes, Shroud will be able to pick up Flamey. C's misses the point-blank shot. And slowly but surely, they're getting kills here, Cloud9. They bring it back to a 2-on-3. 37 seconds left on this clock, and that bomb hasn't been planted yet.
Ooh. Shroud almost blowing himself up there. Stewie getting really close to the bomb plant right now. Could he actually buy enough time? It's not going to happen. It will be Zeus and Guardian to get the last couple of kills in. And that's going to leave us with NaVi essentially winning the first half at 8-7. That's a huge scoreline for NaVi. And, we were talking about sort of being Flamey and Cease carrying the load early on. Well, now Edward ends up top fragging at 12 kills, and Shroud being right behind him at 11. And then the rest of Cloud9. That was just a really, really weird sort of first half here. And I think you were talking about this, where is the timeout for Cloud9 potentially? Yeah. I think it feels weird taking the timeout when you've just had such a good run. You feel like any moment we're certainly going to get back into it. And that moment just never came. No,
this is where you need to step. This is where, I don't know, Stunna, somebody who's outside of the game, right? Who's able to take that step back, who isn't directly involved. I'm not saying throwing in the towel, right? Because that's when you quit, right? But definitely deciding, to take a bit of a breather. Yeah. Like at any point in time, once NaVi start to get that roll going, like you need to be able to actually just say, okay, call the timeout, take a pause, take a break, and figure out what we need to change. Or we've even heard of teams that take that timeout and they don't talk. They'll just sit there for a minute and just, sit and breathe and try and, refocus themselves.
I think it sort of snuck up on them because they won 6 rounds, then lost 2, then they won the single one. And probably at that point they're thinking, okay, we're back in the saddle, boys. We've got 7-2 scoreline here. Surely it's going to be fine. And it finishes 7-8 with NaVi winning 6 rounds in a row at the end. And I think you probably don't see that coming. You do think that, it's just a matter of time. So I think maybe it snuck up on them that NaVi were going to take that kind of a run.
And you were making that point, about both of these teams are very even at this point, actually. You've got 3 players in the double digits for NaVi, and then Seized and Guardian not trailing too far behind with 8 each. So, both of these teams, it's not like there's like some, there's a big weakness where, okay, they can identify this one player is clearly not feeling his game. He's struggling a little bit. Let's go and hit him repeatedly. Everybody's kind of hitting their shots if they're given the opportunity. So it really is coming down to this very slow, methodical style from NaVi. The fact that they keep going back to their defaults and they keep getting the accurate reads as well, where they can start feeling like, okay, Cloud9, as this progresses and as NaVi keep getting more and more rounds on the T side, they actually stopped playing so aggressive towards Ivy. They stopped taking forward positions where they might get rushed down by some kind of like crazy play coming out from Cloud9. They kept playing farther and farther back until they're just like, okay, now we're ready to just, kind of grind out this round. So during the first half of the round, right, they just sit and wait, and then they just start, moving across the map slowly, methodically, winning duels. It's really terrifying to watch, actually, NaVi, when they hit their stride. Just doesn't feel like there isn't much you can do against it apart from just hit your crazy shots.
We have the second half coming up here, the pistol round, and we do have 2. Well, actually, smoke just went out, second one as well, so it looks like a set execute coming out here from Cloud9. This is a really important round for them. If they lose this, NaVi are going to be so far ahead. Zeus with the opening frag, shutting down Freakazoid and dropping the bomb. Seized and Zeus joining in, and now it's nothing in Skadoodle left, and there's pretty much no way to get back in a round like this unless huge mistakes are made on the NaVi side, and it really shouldn't be the case. Yeah, bomb plant, that would be a big win right now, but oh no! Edward lands a headshot, and that's going to be the end of it. 9-7.
Devastated, man. They must be feeling devastated at this point.
Yeah.
Cloud9. They're hoping they've actually, they clearly had a thought process going into this round. Like 2 guys going for utility, setting up the smoke, setting up the flashes. They just weren't counting on getting completely wrecked when it came to the fights. Like Zeus, where did Zeus come from? All of a sudden, he's just hitting pistol headshots left and right all over the place, and they just get completely annihilated.
Right, here's what if you count the rounds they lost in the first half, that was 6 in a row. Counting this one, 7. We could be up to 8-9 rounds in a row if they win the next 2 rounds here, NaVi. For Cloud9, that's also demoralizing. You can only take so many rounds in a row that you lose before you start to question, can we even do this? Are we even competitive right now? And obviously, we're looking at a set executed. NaVi tried the exact same thing, and they got utterly shut down when they tried to do this. See if Cloud9 are going to have more success with it.
Well, Zeus is just dancing on the edge of the smoke right now. He's going to be in one of the few spots that they're going to be checking. Freakazoid just charges him straight up, but it's not before the damage is done. Freakazoid has already lost 2, 3, 4 teammates, and he's now the last man alive. And it's just not for long. So, yeah, same result as when they tried to run it, that smoke execute onto the A side, hoping, this isn't the old version of Train where you used to be able to just drop that smoke on the yellow barrel and you get guaranteed plant, just stand behind that barrel. They can't wall bang it, sit there and plant. Just doesn't seem to happen anymore.
Well, it's also just the fact that when this strategy was sort of first put into play, nobody really knew how to counter it, right? That wall of smokes went up, and you didn't necessarily know how to stop it. But now everybody does, right? You see the smokes in the air, and you know what's coming. It's an easy call, right? Everyone gets into the right position, and that's it. So you're almost sort of signaling a little bit too much to the enemy anyway. You're just saying like, well, we're gonna be doing this, telegraphing as it were in boxing terms. That's not good. That's not going to work.
It's not going to work against the NaVi who are fired up and hitting shots. As we saw, Zeus, yeah, sure, Freakazoid rushed him down, but he insta-killed one of them. And now Flamey, wow, this is like the slowest peek ever. He just actually strolls right in there. Don't mind me, guys. Just going to go ahead and peek up here. 2 guys waiting for him from Cloud9. Seized is there to just stop Shroud cold. That bomb does get dropped onto the bomb site, so that helps, except that, Stewie 2K is dead. And now Freakazoid follows suit. So another 4 players, like NaVi, they're just getting all these rounds on the board with 4 players surviving, so their money is just fantastic. Nearly 9K on the, nearly 9K for Flamey going into this key round. They have the money to do whatever they want, and not like in the first half where Guardian wasn't able to get his op in the first buy round. Now he's got his op, no problem. He's got full nades behind it. Everything here for NaVi to just set up and just shut down Cloud9.
Well, 11-7 is the current scoreline, and I'd be curious to see if Skadoodle can find some of those opening franks that Guardian really didn't do. It wasn't really Guardian that opened up a lot of the rounds that they had on the T side. It'd be nice to see Skadoodle, because that's one of the strengths of having the AWP on the T side. Otherwise, why pick it up? Because you're going to be a little bit more immobile, you're going to be a little bit slower. Stewie with a great opening on Flamey, and that sets Cloud9 off on a much-needed and good course here.
Yeah, it's that confidence play coming out from Flamey. Just like, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, go for the smoke, the trick smoke, basically. Get up on that little ledge and see if I can catch somebody out of position. Cloud9 just not going to get caught off guard this time. Zeus, however, is going to catch Shroud as they try and push onto the A site, and he spots out Freakazoid as well. Freakazoid takes that fight straight up, and he has the bomb as well. Had he died there, Cloud9 would have been in dire straits. Now, at least, they actually get some control of the map, and they're catching out the rotators as well. Edward, dead in Link.
Stewie with the second kill of the round here. Seized and Guardian are going to have to work really well together to even try and salvage this round. Freakazoid crouching in great angle. Nothing going to go down. And here's where you have to be careful. If there's one player you've got to respect in a 1vx situation like this, it might just be Guardian. Even with 7 health, if you give him any kind of an opening, you never know what could happen. The bomb is about to go down, and Guardian, he can't actually rotate into an angle, and it's going to be Skadoodle to shut it down. So there we go. And actually, I could hear Cloud9 getting kind of loud here in the arena.
You heard Stunna. Stunna's just like, come on, guys. Let's go. Let's get it going.
It's what I need,
please.
You know.
I mean, they need some confidence right now. They really do need to get something going for themselves.
Why have American teams in the tournament, Semmler, if they're not going to be shouting?
Well, as the day drags on, teams have been getting a little bit quieter. You know, we had Splice. Well, Splice didn't really have much chance to get hyped. They just got completely trounced.
But the few times that they did bring it.
They did get pretty hyped, yeah.
Yeah, they brought it. I like that.
I think the real one was Astralis versus Gambit. They were going ham at each other. All right, well, this is a way to change things up. Seized, straight flash.
Yeah, but look at the huge play on Guardian here. He's actually pushed down Ivy and has checked that there's nobody in T-spawn, so they just know Seized. He could have easily got a second kill, but Su's going to go down as well. They might be losing a bit of control here, and now as they walk back in, Guardian, is he going to realize that Freakazoid is in this position? It's a bit unlikely for him to check. Flamey takes down one, and it's almost a second one as well. Shroud and Freakazoid, it's a 2-on-2, but they have a pretty big health disadvantage. Not that it's really going to matter when you got the AWP, and now all on Shroud. 1-on-2. He's got the bomb in hand, and about a minute left on the clock, and that smoke's going to fade. Edward is already tracked right on it. There will be a double kill, and NaVi making it 12-8. And that is going to put a really, really big stop to Cloud9's economy.
Yeah, big strain on it. Now, I mean, you've got Stewie, who's just hard reset down to 1,400 again. Shroud had a little bit of a bank as well as Skadoodle. So if they play this smart, like the hard eco, they might be able to get a decent buy going in the next round. If they can just find some way to get a bomb plant, that would be huge. And yeah, Scott really prioritizing. He's just going to go for that P250, so only making the $300 investment. If they can get the bomb plant, this could be big here for Cloud9. It's really what they were hoping for. Because otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a lopsided buy. It means that somebody's going to have to, you know, well, take the Tech 9 just to afford to get some nades, that sort of situation. Double op setup, though, for NaVi. Going into an anti-eco. I mean, this is pretty brave. You're just looking to just pick them off before they can get in your face with those Tech 9s.
All right, now Cloud9, they got 2 flashbangs, so I mean, it could be that nothing essentially is going to try and see if they can put some flashbangs in, get in and get the bomb down. If they get the early kill, there is sort of a 1 in 1,000 chance right now that those 2 orbs could backfire, just because retaking with 2 orbs against a team that's, if you're in a 5v3, you don't want 2 out of those 3 rifles to be AWPs, right? So a lot of things will have to go right, but there is that one thing that could be working out here. Flamey, instant kill and seized, and the Flamey with the follow-up Molotov, and that puts an end to any dream of them getting something out of this round. Yeah,
this is just painful. They haven't taken a single point of damage. Not a single point of damage taken by NaVi in that round. That's as brutal as it gets. You're not even going to get close. You actually don't even get set foot onto the bomb site. Just completely shut down. That's the worst case scenario. Skadoodle, because he bought that P250 in the last round, he's $50 short of a glass cannon AWP. And so now, tough decisions here need to be made. What can he do? He's going to have to just go AK, straight up AK. But I mean, he's the kind of guy you really want that AWP on him. If he can catch somebody out, try and pick one up off of NaVi, that would be huge. But right now, Cloud9, this is it. The Hail Mary. If they lose this round, NaVi, they're going to be up on 14 and within grasping distance of that match point. And it looks like Cloud9, they're trying to go straight up for the change of pace here. Shroud straight down at the Pop Dog, aggressively taking control of that part of the map. Clears it out, backs off, and now is going to start worrying about B-Halls. But in the meantime, his teammates, they're pushing aggressive A main. They're getting out through Ivy, and this is where the action starts. Freakazoid, he's going to catch out Zeus.
Big opening kill, but they need to follow up quick before the rotation coming. It's already happening. Every single member of NaVi is coming to this bomb site. So Cloud9, they either have to execute or fall back, which they would have the time to do if they really wanted it. But it seems like they're going to commit, and they're running right into all members of NaVi. There's a good shot from Shroud before he goes down. Guardian actually getting a kill, and then Flamey with the Molotov to follow up on Stewie. It's all on nothing, and Freakazoid here. 2-on-2. Nothing coming up with the second kill. So that was Freakazoid stealing it in front of him, and now Flamey walking into it. He's going to go down. But a great win here for Cloud9. It looked really unlikely that they were going to win that. They essentially attacked a bomb site with 4 people in it and lost the early engagements, but it worked out anyway.
That's where you kind of get dumbfounded. You kind of wonder how do NaVi actually lose control of that situation and allow them to get so close? Is it because Zeus died so early outside of A main that Cloud9 were able to sneak somebody up close and actually start applying the pressure, start really trying to split that side open?
Yes, definitely something went wrong on the NaVi defense there, because they made the rotation call very, very early. As soon as they lost the first man, they were all running there.
Oh no. Missing smokes as well. A little bit of a shaky start here for Cloud9. You cannot afford to miss smokes, and especially if you're really trying to go for a fast play. Looked like that was what they were shaping up to go for here, but...
Right, and I mean, you'd be surprised even at the top level how often that can happen. Either people missing their smokes or sort of not remembering how to do them, you know? Because you have to have a pretty large catalog of smokes in your head, right? Sometimes someone will call a strat and, you know, player will just say, I don't know. Also, Orc being picked up by Guardian, which is interesting.
It's MLG, Anders.
It's MLG is true.
It's only fitting. Big spray from Edward to start things off. Holding close, and he gets the headshot on the Freakazoid somehow. Man advantage, a 2-man advantage here for NaVi, and he even falls back. Edward just too good right now. He's going to be able to make it out of there. And Cloud9 now with 3 players still looking to split up this A site. Nothing is going to have to take the fight straight up with Zeus, and he does win it, hands down. So now we're back into a 3-on-4.
And Guardian is sort of trapped in that corner, but he picks up the 1 kill now. They're going to try and see if they can take him out, and they will be successful. It's back into a 2-on-2 somehow. Cloud9 actually make it back into this round. Skadoodle going to get the 1 kill, but he's shot him back, and he can't make it out. Edward picking up a triple kill. That was a matter of pixels. If he could have made it in behind that carriage, that would have been just fine. He could have actually survived, but instead, it is going to be 9-14. And NaVi 2 rounds away here from taking out Cloud9. And I don't know, honestly, the level that Cloud9 have brought here is I think, a step above what I was expecting.
I agree. Now the question remains to be seen, can they make it to double digits, or is this going to be like the full NaVi show? Because again, this is Cloud9. I mean, they're hoping to get lucky. They got to go for the force buy again. Their money wasn't solid enough to just, you know, go full AKs even. It's a mix of Tech 9s, the single Galil picked up on Shroud, and they are trying to change up that pace. They're going to be wrapping around towards B side. It's going to get a bit tricky here for Flavey, who has the MP9. Not nearly the best weapon, but he's still going to get 2. How does that even happen? Shroud and Stewie 2K, both caught by the SMG, and we're back into a 3-on-3 here somehow.
Yeah, it looked like he could have got
railroaded, is what I was thinking.
Nothing out of that. It looked like it could have been an awful decision, Matt. And 3rd kill coming in from Cloud9. Skadoodle taking out Guardian. He's going to bring it into a favorable position here. Oh, seized. This is a big risk. If he goes aggressive and he dies over at the B-bomb site, that's it. The round is done. Edward picking up a kill. If they try and run into Seized, they've got so much information right now, and there's almost no way Cloud9 is going to be expecting that Seized will be fast behind them. Yeah, I know. You got to love that Seized's taking his time. He goes for the pistol just to move that much faster, and now he's so quick into Pop Dog. The timing, it's going to completely wreck Nothing, who's looking the wrong way. Nothing expecting the push to come in from Link. Instead, it's Edward in the back line to catch out Skadoodle, and that bomb, at least the bomb gets planted for Cloud9, so they'll get a little bit of bonus money to work with in the next round. But that was a big win from Seized. And from Flamey in particular, I got to give it to him, man. The MP9 up close, I was expecting him to just get completely run over and everything to work well there for Cloud9, but the fact that he gets 2 kills completely threw everything out of whack for Cloud9. Right now it is Flamey and Edward, in fact, who's top fragging. Edward at 21 kills, so a little bit out of the ordinary, but it's not like the rest of NaVi are really far behind. There's not like a huge difference here. Still, it's encouraging to see. I think that's you know, if you're NaVi, you're going to be fine with that, because there could only be so many games before you know Guardian is going to go into full beast mode. Yeah. So, you know, it's no harm in him starting slow if he's going to be back and playing later. Now, it is match and map point for NaVi here. Cloud9, they have to make this work. They're playing one of the toughest opponents in the world right now that they could be playing in this group. Well, certainly the toughest in the group, but they need to come up with a little bit more right now. Flamey picking up the first kill on Stewie, and actually Flamey out of bullets, going to be trying to fall back, and Nothing instantly punishing him for that. And he will get rushed.
That's the kind of no-fear approach you need to have. You just need to go charging after him, get that trade frag, start getting things to go your way. Bomb is going to be rotated onto that B side as well, and nothing. He's camped out. He's waiting to see where the rotation is going to come from, and I do believe he just spotted out Edward, but that flash timing is perfect, and Zeus finds a kill in the meantime. So we do get that man advantage now for NaVi. They have the gear advantage as well, and C's is just going to straight up take that fight with nothing, win it hands down. Edward is roasting, and he gets dropped down to 6 HP. But it's still a massive advantage here for NaVi going into the retake, and it's all on Shroud, and it's just not meant to be. NaVi will be winning their first match in this group, and Cloud9, despite their best efforts, they will not make it to 10 rounds.
I just point out that kill on Freakazoid is actually what made the round, because he was flanking through A main and into C connector. So as soon as they kill Freakazoid, they know that it's not going to be an A push. They can focus all their attention on B, and they don't have to worry about any kind of flank. So that one kill on Freakazoid, just that all sort of essentially revealed the whole strategy from Cloud9 in that round. But still, I would still say I think Cloud9 showed me more than I was expecting here.
14 rounds. Out of the last 16 rounds, Cloud9 picked up 2.
Yeah.
Like total and utter dominance after that timeout. That timeout pretty much won NaVi the game, because after that timeout they won nearly everything. They won every round apart from 3. Like, that's complete and utter dominance.
What a match! And I mean, again, we showed the sort of the how effective that timeout was for NaVi. You sort of hope at one point Cloud9 could have had a similar experience, right?
That's the one thing, and that, I mean, it's a weapon in your arsenal, and you need to know how to use it. You need to know when it's time to actually take that pause. NaVi, they used it perfectly, and they never struggled thereafter, so they don't need to use their second one right in the second half.
Yeah.
But I mean, Cloud9, not a single timeout used, and that, I mean, teams, they are starting to understand the importance of it. The fact that you can use that just to rethink your strategy, or to just slow things down and allow your players a little bit of time to breathe and try and regain their focus. So Cloud9, they just get completely steamrolled, and well.
But to be honest, just if you look at the group, right, if you thought Cloud9 were going to make it out of this group, you wouldn't say it was off the back of a victory against NaVi, right? That was the one team in this group where you had to say.
Would have been a pretty good start, though.
It would. I mean, that would have almost secured them. I think then you would be like, surely you should be able to do it. But I don't think that was a likely scenario. No. But we will see what Guardian says about this, because he's ready with Chris down on the stage. So please take it away.
Thank you, Anders. I am here with the best op on the planet, as a lot of people are saying around the venue today. Guardian, you started off a little bit slower than a lot of people expected. The North American fans started getting rowdy in the chat. What was going on in those first 6 rounds?
I would say they just started better than us. Maybe the focus they had was much better than ours. Then we took a pause, and then we figured out what should we do, and then we completely knew what are they doing on CT side, so it was pretty easy to play, and then we won like 8 rounds or something.
And what did you guys talk about during that tactical pause? Was there any one position you needed to focus down? What did you fix?
Well, before the game we were talking how do they play on city side, but still we kept doing something else that we shouldn't have. And then we took time out, and we just talked about that we should play how like against their defense and stuff. So I think it was just like talking the same thing than before the game.
Now, we watched the video piece before everything started, and we saw that awesome appearance of your father saying he watches every single match and he gives you guys some feedback. What do you think your dad would say about this first match of this tournament?
I would say he would say like, you played all shit, or something like that. He's criticizing everything. So he finds every single small thing, and all the time after the game he just says that you did wrong this and stuff. So yeah, I would say he would show me all the bad things.
Show you some direct feedback there. Well, talk to me a little bit about this group. Coming in, there was a lot of question marks. A lot of people said NaVi probably going to come through as the #1 seed. Looking around, you already beaten Cloud9. You're about to see Virtus.pro versus G2. How do you feel you stack up against the other teams in this group, and who do you expect to come out with you?
Well, we've been playing these teams a lot of times, even last event against Virtus.pro in the quarterfinals, I think, or semifinals. So we know what can we expect, but still sometimes they do something new that we don't expect, and then we have to adapt and stuff. So this is major, and it will be hard to play any team. So even I would rather play Virtus.pro in the next game, but I think G2 are pretty strong at the moment. But yeah, we'll see.
All right, final question for you. I got to ask about the wrist. How is it feeling in this tournament? Is it affecting you at all?
It's affecting me pretty a lot, but I'm trying to not push myself in the group stage. Hopefully, I will not have to push myself to play, even more and harder. So I'm glad my team did good, and yeah, I will have to, relax and chill.
All right, well, best of luck. I'll let you go rest with your team for the remainder of the evening. Guys, we have one more match, but let's hear from the guys at the desk. What do you think about C9 versus NaVi?
Thank you very much, Chris.